Welcome to the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast, where you learn the best doubles lessons to improve your game and win more matches while getting to know some of the top doubles players and coaches on the planet. I'm your host, Will Bochek. This podcast, my weekly strategy newsletter, and my website all focus on the goal of better understanding the sport of doubles and helping players like you improve faster through actionable advice that you can use in your very next match. My goal is to provide the best doubles resources in the world. And to do that, I study, analyze, and work with players at every level of the game, all the way up to the ATP and WTA tours. If you enjoy this podcast, consider becoming a Tennis Tribe member to go even deeper and take your doubles IQ to the next level. Members get access to premium podcast episodes, weekly video lessons, monthly strategy webinars, courses, ebooks, gear discounts, and a lot more. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to see all the benefits and sign up. Here's today's episode. You're about to hear my conversation with the founder of one of my favorite brands in tennis, ADV. Lavie Sak founded ADV about a decade ago, and I wanted to have him on to talk about the company that he's running today and just tennis gear in general. So this episode is a little bit different than your normal doubles-focused episode, although it is very much related to your doubles game. You want to make sure that you have the right gear when you're on the court. And ADV quickly, when I first found out about them in 2020, became one of my favorite tennis bag companies. I reviewed their very first bag. I provided some feedback, and they are one of the few companies that actually implemented my feedback into version 2 of the bag. So they take feedback from their customers and they continue to innovate and develop their products, which I believe tennis needs more of. So we talk about the product development side of different tennis gear, including dampeners, grips, as well as bags. We also talk about how a product is created from scratch. After that, we dive into pricing on the products, and then we do talk about doubles towards the end. So Lavie is a former tennis coach. He still plays doubles occasionally as well, so he gives us some of his favorite doubles tips. So if you want to learn more about ADV, check them out in the show notes. I'll link to all of their bags. I use the ADV Pro when I'm traveling and when I need to carry more gear. And then recently I've been using their new Flex bag just locally around the Fort Worth area when I'm playing tennis. So check out their products. Enjoy this conversation. Again, this episode is a little bit different, but I know a lot of you are gear nerds. You're looking for really high quality products, and ADV and Lavie can shed some insight into how those products are created, which I personally enjoy listening to all the behind the scenes stuff like this. So without further delay, enjoy this conversation with the founder of ADV, Lavie Sak. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today we have the founder of ADV Tennis on, Lavie Sak. Lavie, welcome.
Hey, well, how are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for coming on. This is a little different episode. So we're normally focused on doubles, and this is very doubles related, but it's not directly impacting their doubles game, more of an indirect thing. We're focused on tennis gear today. I've done this a couple of times in the past with functional tennis, tennis nerd as well. Jonas and I talked about rackets a lot, but today we're going to talk about your products. And I'd really like to have people like you on to share the stories of basically just products that I use myself and love, and companies that I really trust and that are doing a good job. So why don't you start with like how ADV got started, and also your story, how you got into tennis and got into creating products.
Yeah, so I spent most of my career, or the start of my career, in tech, and it was I enjoyed it quite a bit, but I also enjoyed tennis. It was a big part of my life growing up. So I knew I wanted to be involved in tennis, and I started a company called Shot Stats in the very beginning. I say very beginning was in grad school, and
What year is this?
Oh, man, what is that? Let's see. Dating myself here. 2011, 12-ish, on that.
Okay. Okay.
We raised some capital, did a Kickstarter, and we developed a tennis dampener with a polycarbonate screen that showed numbers, and these numbers included head speed, spin imparted in RPMs, contact point, and it relay all that to your phone. And this is way before the time of PlaySight, before all the computer vision things. So it was pretty novel at the time, and it was hard. Hardware was very hard. Is very hard.
Hmm.
Um, so I learned a lot there, met a lot of cool people. Ultimately, that product did not succeed. We just didn't have enough money to move forward with it. So then that's when I started my consulting career doing tech stuff. Enjoyed that a lot, but I knew like I said, I want to get back in tennis. So then started doing ADV, started very small scale, just selling some small products on Amazon that were tennis related. They did pretty well. And as that continued to grow, we continued to grow the brand quite a bit, and introduce our more flagship products, which are the bags. And that's when my co-founder Maybelline, who was also my wife, jumped on the marketing side of things, and that's when the brand kind of really grew. So,
When you started with the dampeners, did you know you were going to get into bags, or was it just kind of it just kind of happened over time? It seemed like the next logical step.
no, it was not the next logical step. I mean, to be honest, like when I was pretty happy with just dampeners selling them on Amazon. Um, it led to good amount of profit. It was pretty easy. So then I was like, let's have some more fun, and that was it. I mean, at that time it was part time, and I was like, what can I do? Bring more cool stuff into the world. So we looked at trying to find better formulas and blends for overgrips. So we had a dry, then a tacky overgrip, and then that did well too. So we're like, oh well, let's do some more stuff. And then
Hmm.
one thing that always bothered me was wristbands were very plush. And oftentimes when I sweat, it would just get soaking wet and I would put my face and sweat would come down. Never liked it. I'm a big sweater. So we made a compression type wristband made of bamboo charcoal that has less of that effect. Um, and then we made hats and then training kits. And then ultimately during COVID, oddly enough, is when we really started diving deep into R&D for the bags. And now ADV is probably most well known for bags.
Hmm. So I want to go back to the dampeners. Honestly, I don't know much about dampeners. I use one of y'all's on my main racket. I also have a racket that has a little like pizza dampener that's just kind of fun and
Yeah.
it seems to do okay. I'm not playing like super competitively right now, so I don't worry about it too much. But what goes into making a good dampener? I think I read on your site that y'all tested your dampener on like 27 different frames or something like that. What are all the like details that people should look for when they're like looking at a dampener at the store or online?
Yeah, it's funny because I mean, I, testing is huge because we wanted to make three types of dampeners with different sounds and vibration levels, and these are very minute, but tennis players are very particular. Even the smallest amounts of differences in sound and the ping noise makes a difference. But we had to make it compatible for all string patterns. And so I went to my friend Dan, and shout out to I Play Tennis at Midtown Atlanta. Um,
Yeah.
he let me go there and sit there for about 2 hours and try every single racket he had to make sure dampers fit in each one. So I'm a master at taking dampers in and out. Um, but yeah, we also wanted to make it more muted in the way it looked. Just simple. Our branding is barely noticeable. Like you have to stare if you really want to know what it is. Um, and one fun thing I thought was cool. We have a marble one that's black and white. So sometimes you spin the racket, the W or M or up and down to see who serves first. Instead, one dampener is black, one side dampener is black, one side is white. Flip it over, becomes like a coin. So it's just a little fun thing like that. But yeah, the dampers were a hit because they were just I think they were approached a little differently than other dampeners in the market.
Hmm. What about grips? You said you got into grips. You'll have a couple of grips that you sell. what are what went all or what all went into that, developing it, testing it, and then also how should people think about choosing a grip for their racket if they are maybe looking to switch? What should they kind of be looking for?
Yeah, I mean, we tested a lot of materials and then tried different treatments on them. I like this treatment where you kind of feather the grip a little bit to make it a bit more of a velvety feel. But essentially, there's two types of grips. And I don't think there's a perfect grip that has both these qualities. So it's either a dry absorbent grip. Think of the Turnas, right? Those type of grips, and that's the similar to our felt tack. This is a more comfortable, not super tacky, but as water goes onto it or sweat goes onto it, it kind of soaks in and then dries out. The other approach is, which we call max tack, is moisture wicking and very tacky. So when your hand goes onto it, it just you grip it and you feel stickier. However, if it gets a little bit wet with sweat, that sweat won't actually go into it. It's on you to wipe it off or just like take it off.
Mm,
Because it's not meant to absorb. So typically felt tack is great for summer as you sweat more. And then max tack is good for the winter when you don't sweat as much, but you do need that security of that, like, a really grippy grip.
interesting. That's really well explained. I've never been able to like articulate it like that. But like, so for me, I don't sweat a lot. But I do like the drier grips for some reason, but I don't think it's for the sweat reason because I don't sweat that much. I think it's
Yeah.
actually because I like to feel it feels a little more smooth when I'm like changing grips from like my forehand grip to my volley
Yeah.
grip or something like that. So when I'm like um when I have a very tacky grip, I feel like my hand gets kind of caught as I'm switching grips. Maybe it's on return of serve or whatever it is.
Yeah. Yeah, switching grips, I mean, like just having to move your hand on and off, like that little bit of resistance
Yeah.
here does bother some people. It's a super personal thing. No.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so let's move on to the bag. So talk about the Pro bag is the one I use most consistently. I just got the Flex bag a few weeks ago, which I've liked a lot, and I'm probably going to start using that more and more, just for like ease of use, and it's a lot smaller. But when I'm traveling and when I'm playing more, I'll use the Pro bag because it just carries so much. But that's the original bag, right, that y'all created. Talk about the creation of that, what all went into it,
Yeah.
and some of the features as well.
Yeah, so it's the tennis Pro. And at that time there was no V because it was the first version. So version 2, V2, and then V3. Um,
Hmm.
I wanted to build something that I would use. I wanted to build something that was better. The approach we took is we always want to act like we don't know anything and be really good listeners. So we sent surveys out. We asked and interviewed people. What are the biggest pains people have with the bags? What are some workarounds they do with the current bags? Um, so things that came up all the time was they just wanted a lot of organization. But at the same time, people also wanted dumping grounds just to quickly, like after a long match, just want to get their stuff in there and go. So it's like these conflicting things. It's like they want a big dumping ground for stuff, but they also want the most organized bag ever made. Um, so it was kind of on us to see how we can figure this out. So we hired a really kick-ass designer who actually used to work at another tennis racket company, Prince. Um,
Hmm.
and yeah, I mean, he did some work there, but the briefs, like what he was to design wasn't as complex or like as demanding. My brief I remember was like 2 or 3 pages long. It was just like all these details and features and stuff, and just like it was overwhelming.
Hmm.
So we got concepts together. We made some cardboard prototypes, so literally just putting cardboard together to see the shape and the feel of the bag. Um, and then we found a good supplier, a factory based in Vietnam, and we shared it with them. And then probably maybe I would say a series of 5 to 6 1-hour calls at like 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. at night. We got to the point where they had the first sample, and we got that thing back, and It was it was nuts. It was super heavy, had every pocket known to man. It came out to be at cost like I think $200, which would make it have to retail for like $800 or whatever, right? And we're like, well, this won't work. So I learned a lesson is like we have to be very selective in what can go in and how we really do it. So the second sample, we spent a lot of time in just really prioritizing. And the hardest part of all this is we hear all these features people want, and the hard part is cutting things out and just say prioritizing.
Mm.
Um, so
So
things that
what did you cut between that first sample and the second?
a lot of it was materials where it just added a lot of weight. So we didn't necessarily find cheaper materials. We found lighter materials. That was one of the bigger things we did. The number of pockets, and you'd be shocked because it's I think on the Pro there's over, don't quote me on this, I think it's over 20 or 18 to 20 pockets on there already. We have
Yeah.
a lot more than that.
Yeah.
And we try to put them in really smart places, but in retrospect, it was just too much organization. So it actually helped us reduce that. Um, I think our cooler where you can put like drinks and stuff was bigger. We made that smaller, where it could still fit a six pack if you want to put in there,
Yeah.
4 or 5 Gatorades.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, we also had like non-negotiables, like things like it has to have white KK zippers, which are kind of the cream of the crop. They're smooth, they don't break, etc. Um, but yeah, it was a lot of balancing kind of all the features you wanted with what's realistic.
Yeah. Yeah. I think about the cooler. I mean, the shoe pocket is the feature I probably use the most because like every time I travel, I throw my shoes in there and it can fit a lot more than just my shoes. But but the cooler I think is one of my favorite features. And then that hidden pocket as well. I do use that a lot.
Nice.
The hidden pocket and the pocket underneath for like dirty clothes and stuff,
Yeah.
which is also kind of hidden.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the organization is super impressive, and I think one of the reasons we're kind of on this call is after that first version, y'all asked me to review it. That's when y'all first reached out to me, and I first found ADV, and I reviewed it, and I think I had like one or two kind of minor complaints. They weren't a huge deal, but I think maybe I had an extended racket at the time, and it just like it didn't
Hmm.
quite fit like correctly. I had to kind of force the zippers.
Yeah.
And then there might have been one other like minor thing that was like not a huge deal, but then y'all released V2 and y'all fixed both of those things. And I was like, oh my gosh, like they are taking feedback and they're actually like implementing it into the next version of their products. Like these people care and this is like a really good company. So like hats off to you for doing that. And that's obviously gotten you where you are today with all the great reviews and stuff. Um, but let's go to the
Like,
backpacks and the training kits.
there's one
Talk a
thing
little bit about that. Go ahead.
there's one no, I appreciate that first of all. And like it's I come from tech and the feedback cycles are so much quicker in software.
Yeah.
Here
Yeah.
it's like, oh my gosh, we have all these things we need to fix, and like it irks me not to fix it. But one of the more like minor things was one coach was like that bigger pocket on the side, that just one panel pocket on the side. He's like,
Mhm.
man, it's great, but it just will not freaking fit my manila folder. It's just like half an inch to not tall enough. And I was like, I looked at it and the seam was closed, and all I had to do was open it to make that happen. So the next release, it was just, it's a super small thing that you would never think of
Yeah.
that made his life just that much easier to have all these like papers for his kids and so like in the academy.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, these details matter so much. And you don't like, I don't know, you don't realize it. I mean, I think this is like in my review, but you don't realize it until you do get like a good tennis bag. Like, because most of the tennis bags you get from like the major brands, like they're all pretty similar. They're all just about the same. And you're like, well, I don't really care what bag I use. But then, I started getting a bag from y'all. I got bags from other brands as well. And yeah, like when you get a good tennis bag, you're like, wow, this is like a lot, a lot nicer.
Yeah.
Um, so let's move to the backpack. Talk a little bit about that, the training kit, and then also the new flex bag as well.
Yeah, so the pro is a big bag. Um, it's a 6 racket bag, but it can fit up probably 4 more in the middle if you want it to.
Hmm.
It didn't fit everyone's use case. Like everyone doesn't need 6 rackets. So then we looked at making a smaller bag, the backpack, and the goal here was to build a backpack that you can use for tennis, but also use it on a 3 night stay, just traveling, even without tennis. It could be
Hmm.
your work backpack. So that was the goal there, and the idea was like, how do we keep the DNA of the Pro the same in the backpack, which we're now in version 2, so backpack V2. What things carry over? Like, should they be cooler? Should they not? How should it hang up? So there's a lot of features and a lot of insights we learned from the bigger bag. And we asked the people who got the bigger bag, it's like, what would you want in a smaller bag? Would you want a smaller bag? So it was just it helps so much to have that first base audience that knows your products that can share more feedback, and then we continue to kind of leverage that um, as we get more and more products in, just asking them because they really care. They want more bags and they want us to create more stuff. Um,
Hmm.
so the backpack was a good second bag for them, and some folks actually use both. It's like one complements the other. So it's pretty cool to see. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the original backpack I used a little bit on the court, but I still use the Pro more. But then now you've got this new flex bag, which is even smaller.
Yep.
And I think that, like, for me, I think that's a better fit. I think the original backpack is great for like travel, like you're saying, especially if you only have 2 rackets. But this flex bag is like smaller, a little bit sleeker on the go. What was the kind of the feedback that led to that?
Yeah. So people are like, this backpack's too big. I mean, simply put, like it's too big for me
Yeah,
or for any. And
yeah,
it was a lot of feedback from women in particular too. Um, and people love the organization, the look and feel of it, but they just wanted it to be smaller. And but one that gotchas that led to one of the cool features is the fact that they wanted shoe storage. Shoes are big; they just take a lot of room up. So the
yeah.
backpack V2 has a shoe compartment inside, where the Flex has an external canopy. It's like a hidden spandex loop or hidden spandex sheet that pulls out, and you put that over your shoes or a bike helmet. I put my kids' swimming stuff in there, and it's like an outdoor or exterior enclosure for all the stuff. While you have all the stuff in the middle, the space in the middle. But overall, it's a smaller footprint. It's 27 liters compared to 37 liters for the backpack compared to 62 liters for the Pro. Um, so there's a little gap in there in liter size that we're going to eventually
Yeah.
get into. So more to come on that probably. But yeah, the Flex it's a flexible type bag that can be used on and off the court.
And the other thing, I'm sure y'all got this as well, but the other feedback I got just like playing tennis, mostly in mixed leagues, I would show the bag to people, and a lot of the ladies wanted different colors. And
Mhm.
y'all recently released some new colors that maybe are a bit more feminine. This is two guys talking about feminine colors, but uh, maybe they're a bit more like I don't know, they're different. Because the
Yeah.
previous colors were like black with like some light trim and so talk
Yeah.
about the release of these new colors and then we'll move on to the training kit.
Yeah. So again, we asked people what colors they wanted. Essentially, like it was in, and we like
Mm,
the survey results. We kind of segment them like if they're men or women and see what that breakdown was. And oddly enough, it wasn't like a clear breakdown. Like I think men wanted these new colors just as much as the women did. But the
yeah.
new two new colors are Dune, which is a like a beige sand type color with a mint green accent, and then Aqua, which looks like a denim kind of denim wash on a bag. It's
Hmm.
kind of cool. That one, I thought I wouldn't personally like it as much, but I do like it. I kind of gravitate to it.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, and then in the future we may do like fun drops according to like maybe a Wimbledon green or something like that to see how that works. But I think people get hyped up for the different colorways and things like that. So
Yeah. Yeah, that would be cool. That's a neat idea to do like Yeah, if y'all could create like 100 Wimbledon wins or however many, and
Yeah.
yeah, that'd be fun. So the last thing is the training, or the last product here is the training kit. So this is something I have started sharing at some of my doubles camps with people who sign up, and I use this a lot because it's got the cones, the resistance bands, all of that. That's a little bit different from the bag and the backpack. Um, Talk about that story. Where did that idea come from?
Yeah, I mean, we try to, so ADV, we try to make everything for tennis players that's not the racket, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, and so I coached for about, I want to say 8 years. I don't actively coach now, but I did before. Really cool time in my life. Um, but I often find myself telling parents to get XYZ thing to help their kids training. Um, so then it was more or less like, get this, and it would come out to like $150, $120 of stuff, and like it should just be easier than this. And there weren't many curated boxes of training things. Um, so we have a pretty cool network of content creators like yourself, Jonathan Stokey. And we just asked, like, what do you think people are going to need? So we asked a lot of high level coaches, um, what do players really want or need, especially in academy settings, and in my experience, what they need. So we created a training kit, called Training Kit V2 is a version 2. The items come in a nice drawstring bag. There's a reaction ball or a Z ball. Bright color. I think the same as that color as a tennis ball. Four cones, different colors, so you can do target practice or footwork drills. There's different reaction or resistance bands for different exercises, warm ups. There's a pull rope. I call it pull rope. It goes by different names, but it's where you pull and just kind of that put on the fence.
Hmm.
So yeah, it was more of a solve for a problem I had, and I know a lot of coaches have. So hopefully that makes some people's lives a lot easier. But yeah, it was a cool product to make.
Yeah, it certainly does mine. I always keep it in my pro bag and use it all the time. Um, so we've talked a lot about kind of what goes into creating each of these products. What do you tell people? People who have listened to this so far recognize that like it's a superior bag or whatever it is to most tennis bags out there. But what do you tell a tennis player or a potential customer who says like y'all's bag is just too expensive?
Yeah, that's funny because I don't think I could ever convince somebody who's not really willing to spend, you know,
Yeah.
250 plus on the bag. So like it's more or less that when we first made this bag, the the stuff you want, the materials you want to use, the features we want to put into it, there was just simply no way around it. Like especially at our scale, we could not get the price any further down. So we can't get our cost down, we simply can't sell it for that price. So the decision at the time was, should we cut down features and quality to make this more comparable in price to a normal tennis bag, or should we just really go all in and try to make the best tennis bag for the people who really want it? So we decided on the latter, and essentially it worked out because I mean I think there's a big audience of people, especially in tennis, who just want really good gear that will last them a long time. That when they use it,
Hmm.
it just feels good, feels right. And then anything that adds to your tennis experience, like like you and I know, like when you get to a court, it's just you have fun and you love it, and why not just have all the things that you touch and feel during that experience is better. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I mean it's not, I don't know. I say the same thing with like my membership. Some people subscribe to my newsletter and listen to my podcast and they get a bunch of the free content and that's great. And then some people are ready to like, you know, who are more into tennis, they take it a bit more seriously. They're ready to invest a bit more in their game. So
yeah.
it's just, it's different for everybody. So you mentioned you coach as well, and I know you play because we hit a couple years ago when you were here in the DFW area. What are 1 to 3 of the kind of most effective doubles lessons that you've taught on the court over the years when you were coaching or that you teach now?
Yeah. So I think doubles, I think I mean it's true in singles. I think in doubles is not as understated, but just serve variety. Like I
Mhm.
think I think you could do pretty well with four straight body serves. Like I think that's underutilized often. And I think this, especially just when I coach, a lot of times I see players trying to bomb a first serve, and it's not as sound as just like a
Mhm.
clean kick body serve or something like that. So I think that's one thing I tried to push in some of the teams is try to take that use that to your advantage. And then let's see, I think another one is like whenever you feel pressure or whatever, whenever in doubt, just go up the middle. Like, I think there's so much like, in a point like that. There's so
Mhm.
much going on and so much thinking like where should I put this ball? Where should my feet go? It's sometimes keeping it simple is just going in the middle 5 straight times.
Yeah.
Um, would generally lead to good things. So I think when I coach, I like to keep it simple, like try to because in a match, it's just there's so many things in your head, right? It's just try what are some things you can default to, I guess.
Hmm. Yeah, I like that. I've been big on like challenges over the past year. So if somebody's like uncomfortable poaching or uncomfortable with running new serve formations or whatever, I'll tell them, I want you to do it on every single point for the entire set. We're gonna do
Yeah.
this in a practice set. So I like that. Just like if you're in doubt, go through the middle. Like I'd be interested to have some players, you're going to play a practice set, and every single ball, I want you to hit over the net strap. Every single ball. And let's see what happens. And I bet a lot of them, especially for a certain type of player, like I'm thinking of the players who like to go for winners a bit too often, like it would reduce their errors so much that it would probably make them a better player.
Yep.
Um,
Yep.
so that's a really good one. I like that a lot. What's something that's helped you most in your game? Maybe it was the serve variety or something else.
Um, I mean, in doubles specifically, one coach told me when I was younger, don't try to win the point yourself. Like a lot of times, like a baseline rally, and the two doubles players just kind of hanging out there a little bit. I
Mhm.
love that when I was playing doubles. I just for when I was a kid. But it was more or less what can you do to set the point up for your partner? If you have that mentality, you think a little more on the court, and it helps, right? Like, I think that like the body serve. What would generally happen if you hit a good body serve? That ball is going to be your partner's perfect put away ball, right? So like thinking about that, I think it's helped me a lot in doubles as opposed to kind of that singles mentality, which I think a
Mhm.
lot of kids, at least when I was growing up, they kind of had that. It wasn't necessarily a team as much as it should have been. So
Yeah, I think that's true of a lot of club players, like adult club players too,
yeah,
though.
yeah,
One of the things I teach is, and I got this from Craig O'Shaughnessy because he talks about this in singles. He says like you're the second most important player on the court in singles. So I kind of took that and said, okay, in doubles, we're actually the fourth most important player on the
yeah,
court. So what you just said is like stop winning the point by yourself. That'll kind of get you out of your own head thinking about, I'm going to prioritize my partner over myself because
exactly.
they're a more important player than me. So I like that kind of how you framed that as well. So last, you've got a couple of pro players that are going to start using your gear. So Sim Verbeek, who I just had on the podcast recently, actually, and then JP Smith. They both had an awesome year last year in doubles. Sim
Yeah,
won the Wimbledon mixed doubles title with Katerina Siniakova, and JP, I think, reached a career high last year as well. Um, and yeah, they're both playing great doubles. But how did that partnership come about? And is this something you're kind of looking to continue to develop on the pro tour as well?
yeah. So there's more to come on this for sure. Like official announcements and things like that. But I mean, both those guys are great dudes. And usually it's hard for us as a accessories equipment bag company to land
Mhm.
like these bigger players. Just because usually contracts are with the rackets, and the rackets dictate what bag you have to use. So we actually teamed up with a smaller but pretty awesome racket company called Zeus. And Zeus actually is the rack preferred choice of JP and Zem. So by that, we were able to work with Zeus and figure out they don't really have bags, and they really like our bags. So we, sent our bags through, and now Sem and JP use the ADV bag and it's on tour. And for us, it's just it's a really good, it's great credibility, right? It's on tour, and it's honestly like it's one of those things. When first started like 8 years ago, I was like, I could never imagine like ADV on a Grand Slam court. And it's just it's super cool. It's like super gratifying, and it's even cooler just to get to know them too. Like Sem, I think I spent 3 days with him in Atlanta when he was doing some neurological work, where he trains his brain. He probably goes into in your podcast.
He did, yeah. It sounded fascinating.
It's super cool. So I spent some time with him, and his team and his coach Jacob, which is a great guy also. And yeah, I had a couple calls with JP, super fun guy. And yeah, we have a couple of the pros lined up, and yeah, we're gonna make some official announcements soon. But it's really cool. It honestly brings a smile to my face and just makes me, if anything, it makes me super happy. It's like super cool. But it's great because they really like the gear. And one thing we stress is we don't want to be like another kind of sponsor rack company. We want like a partnership. Like we want like Sam, if there's like 5 things you don't like about the bag, let us know, and we'll most likely fix them and make it better. So like it's a true partnership, and I think the players really embrace that. So because it's like I said, it's part of their experience, and they touch their bag every day. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Lavie, this was a ton of fun. I already knew a lot about your bags, but this was fascinating for me to learn more about kind of the development and the creation. And honestly, like tennis needs more companies like ADV. Like y'all are doing such a good job of innovating and continuing to improve your products. And it's something that I feel like I compare tennis to golf a lot because I also play golf, and I feel like golf just generally does a better job of us than it like innovating and creating new products and driving the sport forward. And y'all are doing a great job. So hats off to you, and thanks for coming on.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It's funny because I think you're right. Like golf is really quick to innovate. Like when shot stats first came out, like there was nothing in tennis that was really. I mean, I think at that time, like some of the red ball, green ball stuff was really kicking off. But outside of that, here's a fun fact. I actually did my graduate dissertation on tennis. Like, not even joking. It was like I think a 60-page paper on tennis and the evolution.
Oh my gosh!
Wow. I'll let you read that one day, Will, if you have a spare.
Yeah. Send that to me. I need the audio version though, because I do everything on audiobooks.
There you go, man. No, this is fun. Thanks for having me. And yeah, if you or anybody in the audience has ideas, like we're always open to hearing new things. So
yeah, awesome. Well, I'll link to ADV and everything we talked about in the show notes. Thanks everybody for listening, and thanks again, Lavie, for coming on. Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast. If you're interested in diving deeper into the world of doubles strategy, I've created Tennis Tribe memberships that allow me to bring you more podcast episodes, video lessons, webinars, and other doubles content on a weekly basis without relying on paid ads. The lessons inside the membership will help you better game plan with your partner, optimize your practices, and become the smartest player on the court. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to learn more and sign up. You can also join my free newsletter on our homepage, where I share a new doubles lesson every week. If you want to connect, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or contact me through our website. Thanks again for listening.